What's up, my diving nerds, and welcome back to the latest edition of my dive adventures. I'm really out of my element right now. In fact, me forgetting to put the reg in my mouth here is kind of a good picture of how I'm feeling on the recording side. I'm actually on the road right now. I'm on another dive trip. The backlog is getting so big that I needed to do some commentary on the road. So here we are in the hotel room. I'm on my laptop. I'm not on my normal recording box. There's an air conditioner running in the background. I'm going to do my best to minimize the background noise, but you might hear some of that. I'm also right in the middle of my Portugal videos, which nobody's watching, but my laptop can run the dive videos better because they're HD instead of 4K, so my crappy 6-year-old laptop doesn't struggle quite as much with these. So I thought, I'm in the middle of Portugal trying to get those uploaded, but nobody's watching those anyway, and my diving's where the moneymaker's at. So here we are. It's about my 100th trip to Mermet. One more thing. Yeah, just because of all the on-the-road stuff, and because of how these dives went, you can see now there's a problem. Normally I start out with a dive profile, but my computer actually recorded 6 dives on this day, even though it was only 2. So this was the first one. I went diving with my cousin Michelle and her friend Julia, and at least my cousin is, kind of getting into side mount stuff.
Something wrong?
Just, it's odd with the different tanks, so.
Okay. Basically, we went down. My cousin figured out she was overweighted, so we came back up. I think it's relatively new to her. I'm not sure how many, her and my cousin Tim, I'm not sure how many side mount dives they've done, but, so we went down that was my first dive on my computer. So here's the second one. We went down, I think she still had a problem with weights, and then Julia and I continued on, I believe, or maybe we came back to the surface one more time, so my memory's already getting hazy on what exactly happened here. But that's the reason I'm not really showing a dive profile like I normally do. The so-called third dive, I think it was, or maybe it was the second one here, was the meat of the dive. We went down to the airplane. Eventually, no, that was the third. See, I'm already forgetting. But this time, I think there was still a weight problem. That's the other thing. I usually show on the Mermet map, where we went, but not even really worth it here, I guess. When we finally got in the water, we went to the airplane, semi-truck. You should see all that, but... So this is my first time diving with side mount, folks, and I learned one thing about it. I never want to do this. What a pain. I thought I had a lot of dive gear, and I'm slow. When I'm setting up for this, especially on a dive boat where you have very limited space, I start freaking out a little bit. Mermet, you got plenty of room at least, but it's like, man, I gotta connect this and do the weights and put this in here, and don't forget my light, and tuck the pressure gauge through here, and there's just a lot. There's still a lot to me to keep up with, and I learned that side mount is like quadruple. So we're back to the surface now.
Yeah, my weight sucks.
Too much?
Yeah. A bit. I'm overweighted too, but.
Alright, so you heard her. I'm trying not to talk on the surface, so she was overweighted, and the problem with the side mount, at least with her BCD, is the weights are kind of tucked in the back. It's not as easy. It's just pulling out some pouches. So she actually bailed on that dive, and Julie and I took off. Yeah, I'm not sure what she did, but you see the side mount there with the tanks on the two sides. So they had to get a bunch of gear together, take it down to the dock, set it on the dock. Then they got in the water. Once they were in the water, they grabbed their tanks and connected them somehow to the side. I don't know. It was just a huge hassle. And each one of those tanks has its own regulator, I think. Now I'm getting into the realm of things that I don't know a lot about. I've never done side mount. And I don't think I ever will after this weekend experience. Oh, there's something else for you. Yeah, I don't know. It was cool to see, and, you know, hats off to them. Man, plus it's like, you know, that's all a bunch of redundancy on the gear, so you got to rebuy a bunch of things. And, yeah, we decided to, well, Julie decided to take a trip to the school bus, and I was like, all right, might as well. Might as well. Yeah, I think Julie said she's only been diving about a year. I was very impressed with her, I guess, buoyancy and trim in the water. I would have guessed much longer than that. It looked much better than me. I've been diving 5 years now. And just swimming through this bus, I was kicking the bus behind me. I could feel it, so. Here's what it is. I'm decent, you know, I'm not professional level, but I can get where I need to go in a wetsuit. I put on a dry suit, things get tough. Yeah, Julia and my cousin Michelle, they're all team dry suit. Yeah, I know Michelle at least and cousin Tim are also doing deeper dives. So the recreational floor is about 130 feet, I think. You go down there with regular air, you can only stay, you know, a handful of minutes, if that, before you got to come back up. You know, or there's a mandatory decompression stop. So they're practicing on doing, I don't know, they really haven't called it tech diving. I have to ask them about that. Michelle, Tim, if you watch this, leave some comments to clarify. I thought there was rec diving, REC, recreational, and oh, that's got to be a fish nest or something. I don't even remember seeing that. Nah, those rocks are too big. I don't think fish are moving those. That's somebody screwing around. Although, I don't know. There's some big fish. There are some big fish in this lake, in this quarry. Who knows? Maybe that was a fish nest. But I thought there was recreational diving, REC, and then after that was tech diving, technical diving, TECH, I guess. And as far as I knew, I thought tech diving was, you know, you take different air mixtures with you, usually like Heliox or Tri-Mix. I don't know if those are the same thing or not. But I think there's like an emphasis on helium, which is totally inert in your body because you can't breathe. I do know this. You can't breathe oxygen under a lot of pressure or it becomes toxic. That's why the floor is 130 feet, because if you keep going deeper than that, then the pressure of the oxygen you breathe starts getting into a concentration level that's dangerous. In fact, you can get on YouTube, and I think this is what it is. The Air Force, I think, has some videos of people breathing. Shark's hungry. Or maybe I might be thinking of getting narked. Oh, Michelle's back with us. Okay. Yeah, that's what it was. So, alright, Michelle was overweighted twice. Cousin Michelle was overweighted twice. So then Julia and I went, and then Julia's, one of her regulators started spewing bubbles. Like, not violently, but it was leaking a little bit. And we were down there. I think, man, did I watch this? I'm really bad about just like barely even watching these videos and just talking. And I found the armory here. This is what in the world? Is that an MP5? Who's hiding the armory underwater here? Yeah, it said Alex's toy chest. I was really expecting to see you know, have some like Toy Story toys in here or something like Woody and Buzz Lightyear. And instead, it's a freaking I didn't even close it up, so I'm not sure if it's on camera. There's a guy right in front of me. No, it doesn't. Yeah, that guy. Like, waving at me, like... I thought maybe he was telling me to leave that stuff alone. I don't know. I don't know if he was just saying hi, but at the time I thought he was telling me to leave that stuff alone. Like maybe it was a part of a scavenger hunt or something. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm reading too much into that. Maybe he was just saying hello. But I got kind of scared after that. Like, oh, I shouldn't be touching this stuff. And then I pushed it aside and I didn't even close it back up. So whoops, I probably should at least close it back up. Oh, here we go. Step back. Drano. Uh-oh. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Boom! Oh. That's a little offensive goaltending, but we'll take it. It was going in. It was going in. Yeah, this is Cousin Michelle, I think. Well, not that. I think Cousin Michelle did a swim through on the bus. Should I get going? I was trying to record her. I didn't know. I thought maybe the camera might have been above it. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, you can kind of see through the window there. I was half expecting the camera to be, you know, above the window and just looking at school bus, but well, it only works when the windows are down. But yeah, there's 2 times Cousin Michelle's overweighted. Oh, I said that already. And then Julia and I went off, and then Julia's one of her regulators. I don't even know if I can call it an octo. I don't think I can with the side mount. I think each tank kind of has a primary regulator, and that's it. Surely they didn't have 4 of these things hanging off of it. I don't think they did. But it was kind of a very weak bubble stream, but it was leaking, and she didn't like that, and so we went back. And then Cousin Michelle had the brilliant idea of just, it was the second stage that was leaking, just tweak the knob on the side. Which I didn't even think about at the time. I'm a little embarrassed. My regulators do not have manual, my second stages do not have knobs to manually tweak their, oh gosh, I don't even know what it's called. But basically that adjusts how easy it is to breathe off of. So, you know, if it's too tight, then you really gotta suck in to get some air. You don't want that. If it's too loose, it'll free flow. That's what was happening with Julia's, and neither of us thought about that. She thought there was something wrong with it, so we went all the way back to the dock. And Cousin Michelle's just like, oh, just tighten the knob on the side. Whoops. But that actually ended up working out because at that point, Cousin Michelle was, she got our weights right, and then all 3 of us went off and took a dive. Yeah, actually in between that, so Julia wanted to make sure the regulator was not going to leak anymore. So while Cousin Michelle was still adjusting her weights, we started going down one of the ladders to the 65-foot platform. She wanted to go all the way down there, make sure it didn't leak, and come back up. And we got to about 35 feet, as I recall, and then she just called it. She said it was good, and then we came back up. So that was dive number 2 on the day, and this is finally, we're into dive number 3, where this is actually the real dive. You know, at this point, I'd already blown about half my air on, you know, all the fake first dives. But that was all right. I ended up, yeah, both dives here, I ended up less than 500, I think, when we ended. Which, you know, that's starting to get into, you know, I don't know what the margin of error on the pressure gauges is, but once I start getting around 500, I'm like, all right, it's time to get up. It's time to go to the surface. But it was cool. We ended up, we got down to the nose of the plane, to the Cessna. Yeah, oh, it's right there. That's pretty good visibility. This must be around 50 feet deep, maybe not quite. Yeah, it's another reason I didn't trace out the route in the beginning like I usually do. Well, I'm on the road, and I'm not even sure if I have recording software that could do it, but oh yeah, I remember the bike in here now. But yeah, I didn't quite remember where we went. I got a backlog of videos, man. I got Portugal, I got Eclipse, I got some videos from the Eclipse earlier this year I still haven't posted. I got videos down at my lake during the cicada invasion. Yeah, does anybody want to lay over some commentary just to get it done? I was saying the videos, just talk about whatever you want and I'll post it. That's what I do. I don't spend a whole lot of time actually talking about the dives. Yeah, there's the ambulance. This is the ambulance. Yeah, so this is pretty close to the airplane. In fact, I think there's probably a rope from the ambulance to the plane. Maybe. I should know that. I've dove here so many times. Yeah, I'm on like career dive. It's over 120. Somewhere between, probably close to 125. And I bet at least half of those have been a Mermet. Easy. So yeah, I love diving. I love coming here, but after 2 dives in Mermet, it's just like, what am I gonna go do now? There's the super deep part. We actually did go super deep in the second dive. I'll probably wait to talk about that until we get there. Well, let me check my playlist. You know the dilly. Where am I at? We got 10 to go about. I think. Still got a few left. Well, what the hell? I'll say something about it now. So, yeah, we got back from this dive. I had like 450 air left. And there was somebody kind of getting out of the water with a scowl on his face. And he's like, I just dropped my fin and it just sunk. I got negative buoyancy fins. And so we're like, all right, treasure hunt. And this was so this was off the deep dock. Yeah, again, if you look at a map of Mermet, you can find where the deep dock is. So that's kind of off to the, I think it's the northern side of the quarry, where there's not a lot of objects of interest to see. It's close to 85 and then 100-foot platforms. And right off that dock, I'm not even sure how deep it goes. We kept going down there and we didn't reach the bottom. You know, some of that's probably sloping out, so like vertically straight down from the dock, I don't know, probably isn't, you know, as deep as the entire quarry, because you kind of lose in the sense of, you know, exactly where you are. And then I boop that thing in the nose every time. Because Michelle, she found the fin. It was incredible. Yeah, I got like tunnel vision walking around in normal life, and then you put a mask on me, and it's like triple the tunnel vision. I don't see anything. I never see anything. And there's Julia going in the airplane. I was like, what are you doing, Julia? We turning this into a wreck dive? Because I'd rather not go in that airplane. I've been in that airplane. I am wreck dive certified. But even when I was in that airplane, man, we were doing single file, and it's like, I got a problem, man. I don't know how this guy in front of me is going to realize it, turn around, and hand me his air. I guess I get a little freaked out. Not a whole lot freaked out, just a little freaked out about ceiling above me underwater. You know, that's not conducive to wreck diving, because wrecks are usually inside. And even that plane, so that plane is the easiest wreck dive you'll ever do in your life. At least the main fuselage is, the main cabin. I've heard there's a cargo hold, and I mean, obviously it's an airplane, it has a cargo hold. You can go diving in that. And I'm not even sure where that is. I don't think I've ever seen it. I guess it's like under the plane. But I think you can go in there and it's, you know, darker and tighter quarters. But inside the main fuselage cabin there is, I mean, that's the easiest wreck dive you're ever going to do. It's wide, it's big. You can swim side by side. I don't know why we were going face to toes when I was in there. There's a fishy fella. Yeah, so this is in my last dive of Mermet. This is the scuba car. This is their latest edition, Scuba Police. So this is my second time visiting this, and I'm sure I'm going to this dive trip as well. Yeah, it's about at 25 feet maybe. It's basically at the tail of the airplane. I mean, you see the fish swimming around, and they don't like cold water, so... Oh, yeah, I remember all these little minnows in the front of this now. Look at that. I've seen these little fish swarm in Mermet before, but never in this quantity. There were probably thousands of them there. I've never seen this many before. And they were like nipping on the front bumper. I don't know what they were doing. I guess there was something there to eat. I'm not sure what Julia's writing. But yeah, that's the most little minnows I've ever seen in Mermet. That was pretty cool. I remember that now. Yeah, it's Julia. Cousin Michelle had the white fins on. Yeah, I have no idea what this cable is. This was not here the first time I visited the scuba police car. Oh, time for a selfie. Oh yeah, actually showed some, well, look at my nose pressing all up in the front of that mask. I got a big nose, man. It's, if I was one of them celebrity folks with $1 billion, there might be some plastic surgery in my future, but, you know, it is what it is. I'm not... I am what I am. I'm not going to worry about that, but, man, the mask barely fits. Yeah, I have no idea what that cable is. They drilled that thing in there since the last time I've been here, and I have no idea what they're doing with that. No clue whatsoever. Go from here. Hold on, let me check the playlist. We should be not even close to being done. Well, yeah, we're still at the scuba police car. Gotta make it all the way back to the dock. Man, so I don't remember. I've swam around this airplane a lot, and I don't remember that gaping hole. I think maybe they took out the helicopter that was sitting there. Maybe. There's supposed to be a helicopter that sits on top of the 727. And I say helicopter very loosely. It's like a skeleton of an airframe of a helicopter. There's no blades. It was a convertible version that had no top. It was small. There was a jet ski up there too, I think. And it's like, I don't remember seeing the helicopter or the jet ski, and then suddenly there's this gaping hole in the top of the airplane. So I think, I wouldn't bet my life on it, but I think that maybe they took that stuff out. See, we're only, couldn't even see the depth there. Now we're back to the semi-truck with the nose booping. Yeah, at this point I was under halfway on air, and like, I got 2 tanks, that's one advantage side mount. You can freaking go forever, you got double the air capacity. I was probably sitting at like 1300 at this point, and I would have liked to, we went down to the nose of the plane, and I was thinking maybe we could go onto the train car and the houseboat, but I was, or that would have been after the scuba car, maybe. We were down there, and I was like, I can't go. That was a little too deep. The train car is like at 65 feet, so I'd really been burning through some air down there. So I think I basically said, let's go to the scuba car. We looked at the scuba car, swam back over the top of the airplane. I saw the gaping hole in the airplane, and thought, something's missing here, I think. And then we basically came back the way we came, and we're following this rope back to the school bus, maybe, or one of the platforms. Spoiler alert, we saw some paddlefish. Yes! But I still did not get good video of them. It's the bane of my existence, these paddlefish, man. But I finally got a good look at 2 of them here. I could have sworn I had my camera pointed right at them on my head, and they just... Is this them? This might be them. This is not them. That is a... Oh, this is the suspended Cessna. I see the torpedo at the bottom. There's only one thing in this quarry with a suspended torpedo, I think. Maybe, does the one by the dock have one too? It might. But I'd recognize that suspended torpedo from anywhere. Yeah, the platform 1. Yeah, this is about 15 feet down. But man, I finally got my best look ever, except for the I think it was the Arizona Aquarium, believe it or not. I was there for work a couple years ago, and they had an aquarium, and I love aquariums, so I went. And they had a whole tank of spoonbill paddlefish. Like, what in the world? I didn't know these things anybody knew these things existed. And they had, somebody put that chair there. I was this close to ripping it out. I'm like, nah, I don't know where. I'm not exactly sure what's below me. I don't know. You know, I don't know how deep it is below this plane. Like I said, this is suspended at 15 feet, I think. It's maybe 20. But the top of it's probably like 15 feet. And I really have no idea what's directly below this. It might be pretty deep. Yeah, when you see the fish swimming around, you know you're pretty shallow because they don't go in the cold water. Not those kind of fish anyway. Which I don't know what kind of fish those are. You can feel free to let me know. But yeah, so we're back to platform 1. We're swimming back to platform 1, and that's where we saw the spoonbills. So here it is. You can see the bottom. But you can see I got a pretty good personal look. You know, I lock up and freak out when I see a spoonbill because it's so rare for me. There's Cousin Michelle doing the spoonbill hand signal. And I think I had my light on and I just like froze. And I didn't want to like take my camera off the top of my head because I didn't want to. Yes, that thing's mouth is wide open, in case you're wondering. I didn't want to scare it, you know. And I was like, I'm pretty sure my camera's pointing at it, and it wasn't. But that was a pretty good look. It's not center frame, but that was a pretty good look at it. And obviously, you know, this GoPro is super fish lens. It takes a very wide angle. So these things were a lot closer than they look in the video. Very good. That's by far my best viewing of spoonbills ever here. Which is wild, because I thought they kind of like the colder water. Where I see them, they're usually, I don't know, 30 feet down, maybe even deeper than that. I don't think I've ever seen them this shallow before. Like I said, this is 15, maybe 20 feet. I think that's Julie with the putter. She's gonna get a little putting action in. I think this is the last one. Maybe is this the last one? Yes, it is. Still got a little ways to go, but yeah, it was good. And I am like, I'm burning the fumes here. I'm sucking down fumes in my air tank. This is I don't get this low very often. You know, in Portugal, well, that was the opposite end of the problem. We quit the dive in Portugal. I had like 1,400 left, and I mentioned there that was because the dive guide wasn't familiar at all with PSI units, and I'm not familiar at all with bar units. And so I think she was just being ultra conservative there. Oh yeah, I got to vent about something, man. I wrote a really awesome review about that dive shop on Google Maps. Submitted it. I thought I was doing them a solid. Can't hear back from Google. They blocked my review because I revealed personal information or something, and they were like, they don't tell you specifically what's wrong. They're like, we've determined that you have, you know, either somebody's full name in here or credit card number, social security number, things of that nature, you know. And I'm like, no, I didn't have any of that. I did say my dive guide's first name. That's it. That's the only thing that's in there. So they give you an option to like appeal it or whatever. So I click that button. Get an email back today. Still rejected. Still absolutely no reason why it got rejected. Just a link to the same generic bullcrap about, you know, these are the things that aren't allowed in a Google Maps review. And I'm just like, screw you, man. I sent an email back to them that I know no one's ever going to read because this whole process is completely automated. I'm sure their quote-unquote moderator was just a AI thing, which is the same thing that did the, you know, denial rejection in the first place. So I gave that do not reply inbox a piece of my mind. You know, it's like, this is dumb. I'm just trying to write a good review for this dive shop. There's no personal identifying information in here. I have no idea what you're complaining about. But anyway, all right, I feel better now that I've vented on that. Stay tuned. The next one, we're going to start super deep in the dark, looking for a fin. It's going to be awesome. I will see you there.